about math in all 14 buildings here until we have 14 elementary buildings. And so I want to let you know why I'm here today. And you'll notice we have a lot of teachers here today. So they are watching some things that I'm doing, but also they're going to listen to how you're thinking about math. Okay? And as teachers, come here. You're counting. I can tell he's counting how many teachers are here. So we might be talking to each other because we're learning. So you have done some math lessons, and this is new to us, even though you've done some of it. And we as teachers want to know, is this working and helping our students know their facts, or is there something else we should be doing different? And when I say math facts, I'm going to tell you what a math fact is. I'm going to come over here. And so in kindergarten and in first grade, you've been talking about some things like you might have one shell. So you talked about shells one day. And if you add one more shell, then that gives you how many shells? 2 shells, right? So one shell plus another shell gives you 2 shells. So another example of what a math fact, an addition math fact is you might have 2 shells and I add 2 more shells, and that would give me 4 shells. So we call, when you have like one digit here plus another digit, we call that our math facts. So when you guys know those really well, that's going to help you when you start using numbers that increase in their value. So like at some point in time, you'll be doing 24 plus 16. And if you, so you have 2 digits here plus 2 digits here. So when you know things like 1 plus 1, and you know things like 2 plus 2, that is going to help you with this. So in kindergarten and first grade, we're really working on knowing what 1 plus 1 is, 1 plus 5, 7 plus 3, and that's what we call our math facts. And so a lot of the work that we're doing today is going to be to learn our math facts. Okay, so when you hear that word, that's what that means. Yes?
I forgot.
You forgot? Yes.
Did you used to work here as a principal?
Here we go. Yes.
I like it up here.
Oh. Thanks. Okay, we're gonna hold that for now, and we're gonna look up here. And you've already done something like this, but this one is different. Okay. So I know that you started looking at shells and talking about the shells, and I'm gonna do one that looks the same but is a little different. And so I'm already going to, since we've already done this, I'm going to point out what they've already noticed so we don't go through another notice and wonder. So there you are. Do you remember some things they noticed? We're just going to go ahead and, so this is the second one. There's 3, I think, 3 of these. Do you remember some things they noticed already?
Do you want the mathematical what they noticed?
I just wanted to make sure we get to know the context, because this first one is all about getting to know the context about what's up here, and if the math isn't in it, we're good with that. So
They noticed the colors, they noticed the sizes, they noticed how one was different than the other. They talked about how one had a spot missing.
okay. So remember that? You guys remember seeing that? And
Yeah.
these shells. We have 2 of them. Looks like there's some sand. They're on a beach.
Wait, I got something
Right?
to do.
What do you do?
There's a crack in that shell.
There's a crack in this shell. There's a
Yeah,
crack
we
in a
already
lot of
talked
shells,
about
isn't
that.
there? Here's what I want you to do. Now that you've noticed in lunch, so I'm not doing that since this is the second time we've done it. Here's what I want you to think about. I'm going to take it to the next slide. What's the same and what's different from this one to this one? What's the same and what's different? Think to yourself. And then I want you to turn and talk. Everybody should have a buddy. What's the same and what's different? Everybody turn and talk. Find somebody to talk to. What's the same? And then there should be a spiral bound in here while you're talking.
And that shell looks like
They only have the first
Do you have anything? Wait, there's a shelf right here. There's a shelf right here. Look at the smile.
Okay, head on back to your seats. So typically there's that spiral bound one, and I will place it up here. And so they can still see the picture of the shells to keep it in context. And even when we're problem solving, if I have something else up here, they can at least still see the shells in there. But it looks like that's not matching up with what we need. Okay, so my question is, what's the same and what's different? So we have this picture to this picture. What's the same and what's different? And then actually, this is when I would also randomly either pull popsicle sticks or use the generator. I'm gonna go ahead and call on some people, but typically I would just pull popsicle sticks to call on people. And I have to point, and I don't like to point since I don't know your names, I'm going for it. Yep. What's the same and what's different? You're not sure what we're talking about? Well, let's listen to our friend, and maybe that'll help a little bit, okay? You wanna have a seat there. Yes.
So the third one on the bottom, is different because of the color, but it's the same because it's the same kind as the other one.
So this is where it's hard to make a connection because of the detail. That's why that book right there, I would love to have. Go ahead and grab that to me. I'm gonna see if I can find.
I know what she means.
You know what you mean?
Yes, she means like it's the same shape.
Same shape?
Yeah, it's the same shape. No, it's the same. It's the same shape. No. 1, 2, 3.
I'm just gonna go. I would like to do this and show you.
Wait,
So this was what we saw earlier, right?
Yes. Wait a minute.
Okay, yes, right here. What's the same and what's different?
It's kind of using some math.
It's using some math. Well, tell me about that.
2 plus 3 equals 5.
Oh, so you're
all those combined make 5.
you're combining. Listen to those math words. He's combining. He's putting 2 shells, 1, 2, and then he's putting these together, 2 shells and 3 shells. He said it's 5 shells, and I want you to think real quick. What's something that's different? My question is, what's different from this one to this one? What happens? What happens from here to here? Yes.
It looks like in the bottom is more the cells we wanted, but it looks like the starting one,
The bottom one?
I don't want to say
So there's one here on the bottom. Was the one on the bottom there before?
next to
No. How many do we have here?
2.
How many do we have here?
3.
So what happened? What happened?
I know. They always add 1.
Oh, we just added 1. So from 2, when you add 1, then you had 3. Yeah, I see that too. Here's what I want you to do on the next one. I want you to think about how many shells are there, and I want to know how you counted them. So when I say, so hold on a second, you haven't seen it yet, so you don't know yet. So oh, I know, there's lots to share, isn't there? Oh. So here's the thing. I want you to count the number of shells and tell me how you count it. Example, you can count in different ways. Here's how I would count these shells. You could count these shells by going 1, 2, 3. So I counted by ones. Another way that I could count these shells is I know that that's 2, so I would go 2, 3. Another way that I would count these shells is I might go 2, 3. And then another way is I know that when I look at this, I see 3 and I just say 3. So there are many ways to count things. If I wanted to count you, I could count by ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I could count by twos, 2, 4, 6, 8. So do you see how I'm saying I want to know how you're counting them, okay? So I think we're going to try that real quick. So here comes the next one. You're going to look at the shells. Think of how many's there, and then you're gonna think about how you counted them. All right now on your own, thinking to yourself. How many shells are there, and how did you count them? Turn and talk. Everybody turn and talk. How many shells are there?
5 shells. 5 shells. So these ones
Or do you want to show them?
I just saw these ones, but when she switched ones, there's 5
Have seat, have seat, have seat. Okay, turn back, count through. Oh, great, look at that, on it. How many shells are up here, and how did you count them? How many shells are up there? 5. Let's get 5. How did you count them? Do you want to share how did you count, like by ones? Did you count by twos, or how did you count them?
I counted 2, 3, 4, 5.
So these 2, and then what did you do? Here's what I think I heard you say. 3, is that right? 4, and 5. So she started with 2, and then how many did we add on, everybody? 3. And that gave us? 5. How else, did anybody count it a different way?
I counted 5, 4, and 5.
You saw 4. Which 4 did you see? Just come show me real quick. These 4. So you had 4, and then you add 1 more. 4 and adding 1 more, everybody is? 5. Here's, watch this. What is the difference? What's different from this one that we saw a little bit ago? And this is one of these, I have this again. But it's the second string and they're not in there for some reason. I don't know. Just the first one was, yeah. So look at this one. What's different between this one? Or let's ask this question. What happens? What happens here? I've got this, and then here. Turn and talk. Everybody turn and talk.
I know. It's not. I know when they add, they have 3, and then they add 2 more. They just add 1 more. I think it's really hot. How do you think it's 5?
Okay, come back to class. Is this the one I was just on?
No. Yeah.
Do you guys remember which one I was just on?
This one. No, not that one. That one.
What happened? Yes.
They added 1 more.
They added another one. So was I here? Or here?
Yes.
Can you remind me what I did?
Yeah,
That
this
one.
is your final product, so go back 1 more, and that's what you
Right.
started with.
Started with this, and then, okay, making sure I had
Yeah,
that
we're
because I
good.
was not getting. So if I start here, they added 1 more.
Yes.
Let's think about. Let's look.
No, they added 2 more. They added 2 more.
They added 2 more. Let's check. So here we have. Do it with me. 1, 2, 3. Here.
5.
I'm gonna look at this because this looks exactly the same. I had 1, 2, 3, and then how many did I add?
2
more. 2 more. And what did I get?
5.
Hmm.
4, 5. 2 plus 3 equals 5.
Yep. We've had this one. Then this one. What do you think the next one might be? What do you think? Some of you have seen it. I want you to turn and talk. How many shells do you think will be on the next one?
8 more shells. I'm sure it's gonna have 8 because you already started with 8 with by going by
Okay, come back.
and adding 7.
How many shells do you think will be on the next one? Yes.
8.
Possibly 8. Why do you think 8?
8
these shells and you're thinking of something with 2? Okay, what do you think?
That there's 7 because when I saw it a second ago, it was 4 and 3.
Oh, you think they're gonna add how many more?
7. 7.
How many do you think they're gonna add?
1 more.
2 more, and then you would get 7,
7.
right? Anybody think 7?
You can beat it.
Anybody think 8? Anybody think there might be another number?
Can I show you something?
Can you tell me which number that you think that might, the number of shells on the next slide? How many shells do you think might be on the next slide?
4.
You think there might be 4? 4 more or just 4? 4.
But
Yep.
this looks like that one looks like a king from elephant, and that came from a lettuce, and that came from.
He's telling us where he thinks the shells came from, right? So let's look. Are we ready? Do a little drum roll. Let's see how many we have.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 6.
Did you do 7? Did anybody else do 7 up there?
4, 5,
Are there 7?
Yeah.
What is the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
what is the difference between this one? Think of the number of shells. Look up here. Think of how many shells I have here, and think of how many shells I have here. What happened?
5 to 7.
Turn and talk. What happened from here to here?
Put it in 2.
Okay, come back around as a class.
Made it into, see those? 3 to 5.
What happened from here to here?
So it was 5.
I see a lot of people using their hands to keep track of things, which I like. Yes,
They added 2 more.
they added 2 more, which gave you how many?
7.
7. Well, let's count these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
I want to see how you're counting. Let's go to, I want to know how you counted this. How do you count this? I just want to get an idea of just kind of how they're counting in general right now. So how many, we've already said there are 7. How did you count that? Turn and talk. Tell people, are you counting by 1s? Are you counting by 2s? How are you doing that?
Yeah, but I think you mix up a little. So those shells, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. But
Okay, come back together. I want to know how you counted these. So I'm thinking, how many I just want you to turn around for me. How did you count them? Yes. 3. I heard somebody else say this. They said they saw 3 and they saw 4 more. Did anybody else see 3 and 4 more?
I know.
Did anybody? How did somebody else count them? Yes.
I counted it like I said 4.
Where did you see the 4? Here?
No, like at that side 2
Yep.
and 2 in the bottom.
Oh, so she saw the 2 and the 2, which make 4, and then what did you do?
And then I counted 3 times by 1.
Oh, then you went, so I have 4, then you went 5, 6, and 7, so you knew that you had 7 there, right? Awesome. Okay, so when we had these shells, sometimes we were adding 2 to them, sometimes we were adding 1 to them, and we know that when we add 1 to something and when we add 2 to them, that it gives us a different number, right? Is when you add 1 to something or when you add 2 to something, does that make that number larger or smaller? Think to yourself, So if I have 5 shells, and I'm either going to add 1 more shell to it or 2 more shells to it, is it going to make this number larger or is it going to make it smaller? Think to yourself. And turn and talk.
Larger. Because I think it's going to be large because it's the size of a...
Okay, come back together. Is it going to be small? Here's what I want you to do. If you think it's going to be larger, put your thumb up like this. If you think it's going to be smaller, put your thumb down like this so I can get a good idea. If you think if I have 5 shells and if I'm either going to add 1 or if I'm going to add 2 to it, is it going to be larger or smaller? Everybody do that for me so I can see what you're thinking. And so everybody, is it larger or smaller, everybody? Larger. We're going to keep practicing adding 1s to numbers, adding 2s to numbers, and we're going to practice with a game. Okay? So, games.
So I just looked, and the game, one of them is sum it up within 6. That was the one where we were adding or subtracting.
So, do you have the full set?
That was a sum it up.
Or the others, do you guys have the... I'm going to look at it right now. So it is... I think it is orange.
One more.
Yep. We'll use that one. And then will you go ahead and grab me your pieces? This is going to actually be the cards, but that's okay. And the green, I think I already got them out. Yes, you did. Yeah. And are those the 10 frames?
No, they're the 5.
So it's okay, just bring them all up. Just bring it all up and, yeah, we're just gonna, yeah. And just bring me all that box of cards. We're gonna see if they can do it. Go for it. Okay, I'm gonna want you to watch me do something. So this is what's gonna happen is I'm going to sit down, and then what's going to happen is, see you guys in the back here. And I know sometimes when we stand up and there's a lot of us around, it gets crowded, and it's going to be a little crowded because I'm going to want you to see what I'm doing. What I want everybody to do is to scooch back like about 4 little scooches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, that's good. So, if you are in this row, I want you to sit on your knees. Just stand up. If you're in the back row, come closer, and you're either going to stand or come behind me so you can see the sports. So if you're in the way back, come here. Good. Perfect. Perfect. Scooch up. If you're in the way back, stand up. You got this. Yep. Oh, look, I just saw someone stand up. Whoop. If you can't see, come here. Your goal is to see this. If you can't see this, move. You got it. Yep. 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 Keep coming. You got it.
I couldn't see because I only...
Oh, I know. So you can come on this side of me if you want. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go.
It's all a bunch of us.
I know.
Thank you.
Okay. Here we go. Ready? Okay. This is the game we're going to play. Me and my partner. So if you can't see, you find a place. There you go. Got this. This is the game. Me and a partner. And it tells me, look, in this corner right here. This shows cards or does it show dice?
Dice. Cards.
It does kind of look a little bit like dice, but it is the cards. So then to play the game, you can't see? Right there. To play the game, I need the cards. And look at these. Look at that.
It's so tiny.
Is it a 5 frame or a 10 frame?
A 10 frame.
So for the game, I need a 10 frame. And what I'm going to tell you, already in your pack, you have counters that you need, and you have your 5 frames. But you are going to use the 10 frames. And they're in here. So when you get back with your partner, you're going to open this up, and you're going to have to find the 10 frames. And so when I'm looking in here, I see a couple colors. And I also look at this. Here is this. These are my 10 frames, right? You See how there are 10 slots there? What color are my 10 frames?
Blue.
So when you get back, which cards do you need to use?
Blue.
Will I need the red ones?
No.
Will I need the yellow ones that are already in here?
No.
So you will find the blue ones, okay? And then we'll put them here like this. I know. And then I always need my counters because I am playing with a partner and I am making a move. And I'm going, do you want to be red or blue? Blue. So she's blue. And we don't take a lot of time with that because that's not the math part of the game. So I'm going to also let you go first. And here's what she's going to do. See my cards?
Yeah.
You can stand up. Well, you can't because then they can't see. You can stay seated. Yep, sit. There you go. You scooch up some. If you can't see, you get on your knees. There you go. Yep. See, you have to like think a little bit for yourself here. Like if you can't see, you need to be able to see. Okay, I'm gonna go first so I can show you how to play. My turn is I pick 2 cards. 1, 2. Okay. What I am going to do is I am going to place my card here, and I started off with 1. How many do I have here, everybody?
2.
And my game is practicing adding 1 to a number. So if I have 2 and if I had 2 shells and I add 1 more shell, how many is that?
3.
So I could cover 3, or guess what? I get to choose here. I'm going to put this one here. If I'm starting with how many?
3.
If I add 1 more to that, I have 4 shells. So I could either cover up a 3 or a 4. And you know what? I kind of like being around the middle, so I'm going to go right here. So now I'm just going to put my cards in here, and now it's her turn. And how many is she going to choose? How many cards? 2. And so she's going to look at them. And so did you hear the math? Okay, so how many? So say out loud. Say I have
1.
and you're going to add 1 more and get
2.
2. Or put that one there. You're starting off with how many?
10.
Yeah. So you had 5 and 5. Some says 10, and if you add 1 more to 10, you have 11. So do you want to cover up an 11, or do you want to cover up a 2?
11.
Okay, we'll find your 11 and cover it up. And then it's my turn. And the goal is to get 4 in a row. So I know that you've played games before, so like getting 4 in a row looks like this. Or yes, you can go up and down like this. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. So those of you that know what diagonal means.
Yes.
Yep, this is what diagonal means. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row.
8, 10, 9,
Okay.
10, 9.
So I think the best, where are we right now? Just because I have to switch over right now, we'll go ahead and have them go back to their seats to kind of get settled, and then I think that's what and then we'll put them in partners. So we're gonna tell you a little bit how you're gonna get your partner in a minute. You're not picking them, and we're not picking them. The computer's gonna pick your partner, so you need to stand up and head back to your seat so we can talk to you about it. So go ahead and stand up. Head back to your seat. Could you have somebody else while I'm doing this? We're going to, and I'm going to tell you. Yep, the computer's going to tell you who your partner is.
How's it gonna do that?
I'm going to show you. It's magic.
Is it cool?
I mean, I think it's helpful.
I hope it's a wheel, and I hope it picks me and Audrina. No,
It's at 104.
Yes.
Do you have problems with this? Like, do I have to mirror
Oh,
it?
yeah. You are, I think you're on split screen.
keep track because we want to see how this works.
I do. It has good taste. There you go.
Mrs. Rip, do you have any?
Yep. I'm gonna stop